Please be seated. Please be seated. It is my great pleasure to welcome the newest graduates of the Physical Sciences Division of the University of Chicago, their families and friends. Oh, so cute. We all join you in celebrating this most remarkable achievement, the completion of a graduate degree at the University of Chicago. Graduates, take great pride in your accomplishments. You have worked vigorously to advance the fields of astronomy and astrophysics, chemistry, computer science, mathematics, physics, statistics, and make original contributions in all these fields. Your family, friends, professors, and colleagues are most proud of you. Among you, astronomers and astrophysicists research how planets, galaxies, intergalactic medium, circumstellar medium, because I know a few theses which are sitting here, and the universe, how they form and evolve. Physicists advance knowledge of most fundamental properties of nature and are changing the future of how we live in the quantum world. Chemists are learned, some of you chemists, how to improve the world that we live in, from the molecular scales to the biological scales. Geophysical scientists study the history and structure of our dear planet Earth and of other planets. Mathematicians and statisticians develop new fundamental structures and concepts that form and inform new areas of science. And computer and data scientists develop new ideas and tools that greatly impact all human activities on a daily basis. You are now part of a distinguished group of fellow alumni who have changed the world. I know that you will build upon what you learn here to make a difference in the constantly evolving world you inherited. Your lives will reflect honor back to your families, your communities, and the University of Chicago. Congratulations. The tremendous accomplishments of our graduates would not be possible without the dedication and passion of the professors who facilitate their education. In recognition of this, the University of Chicago each year honors members of the faculty who have demonstrated exemplary teaching and mentoring throughout their careers. Nominees are chosen by graduate students, and the testimonials of current and former students comprise the bulk of the nomination materials. The winners are selected by a committee of previous award recipients and other distinguished faculty members. This year, 2 faculty awards for excellence in graduate teaching and mentoring from the Division of Physical Sciences will be presented by John Carlstrom, Subramanian Chandrasekhar Distinguished Service Professor of the Department of Astronomy and Astrophysics, Physics, Enrico Fermi Institute and the College, and by Dan Nicolae, Chair of the Department of Statistics, Professor in the Department of Statistics, Human Genetics, Medicine, Section of Genetic Medicine, and the College.
Through his dedication to teaching and communicating his science, Wayne Hu has profound impact in the field of cosmology. He carefully nurtures the unique passion of each of his students, letting them discover the joy in doing science while guiding their development into confident and highly skilled and inquisitive scientists. With his legendary tutorials, he has inspired students of cosmology at all levels, from non-scientists to leading practitioners throughout the world.
The citation on his award reads, "Through his rousing tutorials, commitment to teaching, and masterly communications to audiences worldwide, Wayne Hu has profoundly influenced the science of cosmology. His dedicated mentorship has inspired passion in his students, along with developing their academic skills." It's my pleasure to give him his award.
A world leader in probability and an exceptional mathematician, Stephen Lalley has impacted generations of students through his extraordinary teaching, mentoring, and advising. As the principal advisor for new PhD students in the Department of Statistics, he has guided and supported their entry into a new, challenging curriculum. He has made good students great and helped them identify and realize their passion for research in fascinating new worlds of inquiry. He communicates mathematics at both intuitive and rigorous levels, attracting students from many departments and frequently changing the trajectory of their studies. His creatively influential performance as teacher and mentor is a source of inspiration for all students and faculty.
Let me read what is written on his citation. So, with exemplary dedication to the mentoring of all students, Stephen Lalley, his leadership and devotion to teaching have advanced the development of generations of researchers in probability and statistics. Congratulations. One more award. This one is an interesting one. It's the Art Kelly Award. In 2013, Art Kelly established the Arthur L. Kelly Faculty Prize for exceptional service in the Physical Sciences Division. Mr. Kelly received his MBA from the university in 1964 and established the same faculty prize at the Booth School of Business in 1999. In addition to his contributions to finance, business, international relations, and geography, Mr. Kelly served as trustee of the university from 1988 to 2008 and has served for nearly 2 decades in the Physical Sciences Division Council, including 10 years as chair. We are pleased to honor his contributions to the Physical Sciences Division and the University of Chicago through this award. The Kelly Prize celebrates faculty who, outside of their classroom, teaching, and research, have made exceptional efforts in promoting and supporting the Physical Sciences Division. I am pleased to announce that the 2019 recipient of the Arthur Kelly Prize for Exceptional Faculty Service in the Physical Sciences Division is Stephen Stigler.
Stephen Stigler, the Ernest DeWitt Burton Distinguished Service Professor in the Department of Statistics, receives this prize in recognition of his numerous leadership roles, not only here at the university, but in national and international academic communities. Steve is a past chair of the Statistics Department, having served 11 years in that role, helping make the department an ideal destination for all academic statisticians. His leadership roles outside the university include serving as president of the Institute of Mathematical Statistics, president of the International Statistical Institute, member of the Board of Trustees of JSTOR Ithaca, editor of the Journal of the American Statistical Association, Theory and Methods, chairman and member of the Board of Trustees of the Stanford Center for Advanced Study in the Behavioral Sciences, and committee work with the National Research Council. These are all prime examples of his dedication and exceptional effort to promote the faculty and the university. His research is focused on the history of statistics and the development of statistical models. Now, if you'll permit me a personal note, I first became aware of Steve's work in the 1980s when he and my graduate advisor here at Chicago, Dave Raup, engaged in a published exchange on the periodicity of extinction, whether mass extinctions in the history of life show a regular temporal spacing. The topic was heated, and many published views were emotional and even vituperative. But Steve's papers on the matter were always rational and analytical. He recently shared with me a series of hand-typed memos he had sent to Dave, carefully explaining his contrary position. His collegiality was palpable. In addition to being a fine scholar, Steve is a real mensch.
Okay, so at the university-wide ceremony this morning, I presented our candidates for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy to the President of the University. In presence of the faculty of the university and the members of the Board of Trustees, President Zimmer formally conferred those degrees in recognition of the incredible academic achievement of our students. Today, those scholars who are being admitted to the community of Doctor of Philosophy will receive both a hood and their diploma for their disciplinary achievement. The components of the academic regalia derived from medieval clerical dress are the gown, the cap, and for those attaining the highest competencies, the hood. The velvet edge of the hood is dark blue, indicating the significant achievement of the level of Doctor of Philosophy. The lining is maroon, the school color of the University of Chicago. In our ceremony, the hood will be placed over the head of the candidate by the dissertation advisor or department chair or faculty representative. And I invite our Dean of Students to read when we start.
As Dean of Students for the Physical Sciences Division, I now have the honor to present for their diploma and hood these students who have attained scholarly distinction. They have prepared a dissertation that contributes to knowledge in a particular field of research in the physical sciences, culminating in the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. Martyar Wanakdarpur, Department of Statistics, dissertation, Statistical Machine Learning Methods for Complex Heterogeneous Data. Committee members John Lafferty, Rena Feugel-Barber, and Matthew Stevens, hooded by Dan Nicolae. Kasturi Chakraborty, Department of Chemistry. Dissertation, DNA-based nanodevices to probe lysosomal diseases by chemical imaging. Committee members Yamuna Krishnan, Chuan He, and Paschalis Gratios, hooded by Yamuna Krishnan. Hussein Gulkar Demirci, Department of Computer Science. Dissertation, Approximation Algorithms for Capacitated K-Median and Scheduling with Resource and Precedence Constraints. Committee members, János Simon, Hank Hoffman, and Chi Lee, hooded by János Simon. Lin Deng, Department of Chemistry. Dissertation, Rhodium catalyzed CC bond activation of 4-membered ring ketones. Committee members, Guangbin Dong, Veresh Raval, and Scott Snyder, hooded by Guangbin Dong. Ji-Wan Ding, Department of Mathematics. Dissertation, A Toy Model of Stukas. Committee members, Vladimir Drinfeld and Alexander Beilenson, hooded by Matthew Emerton. Yuanwei Fang, Department of Computer Science. Dissertation, Extreme Acceleration and Seamless Integration of Raw Data Processing. Committee members Andrew Chien, Michael Franklin, Ian Foster, and Aaron Elmore, hooded by Andrew Chen. Lei Feng, Department of Physics. Dissertation, Coherent Non-Equilibrium Many-Body Dynamics in Driven Bose Condensates. Committee members, Cheng Chin, Catherine Levin, Jonathan Simon, and Henry Frisch, hooded by Cheng Chin. Nir Gadish, Department of Mathematics. Dissertation, A General Framework for Representation Stability with Applications to Arrangements and Arithmetic. Committee members, Benson Farb and Victor Ginsberg, hooded by Benson Farb. Jordanka Alexandrova Kovacheva, Department of Mathematics. Dissertation, Intersection Pairing of Cycles and Bi-Extensions. Committee members Madhav Nori and Alexander Beilinson. Hooded by Matthew Emerton. Gi-Hoon Lee, Department of Chemistry. Dissertation, Metabolite-Induced Protein Modifications in Cell Signaling, a direct link between metabolism and regulatory pathways of the cell. Committee members Raymond Möllering, Chuan He, and Marsha Rosner. Hooded by Raymond Möllering. Nelson Leung, Department of Physics. Dissertation, Quantum Computing with Distributed Modules. Committee members David Schuster, Jonathan Simon, Frederick Chong, and Henry Frisch. Hooded by David Schuster. Sarah Chamberlain Massey, Department of Chemistry. Dissertation, Ultrafast Energy Transfer and Orientational Dynamics in Photosynthetic Bacterial Membranes. Committee members, Gregory Engel, Andrei Tokmatov, and Sarah King. Hooded by Scott Snyder. Drew Stephen Moore, Department of Mathematics. Dissertation, Cohomology of towers of discrete subgroups in GLN over a p-adic field. Committee members, Matthew Emerton and Benson Farb, hooded by Matthew Emerton. Margaret Elizabeth Nichols, Department of Mathematics. Dissertation, Taut sutured handle bodies as twisted homology products. Committee members, Danny Caligari and Benson Farb, hooded by Danny Caligari. No Huang Mun Pham, Department of Mathematics. Dissertation on Lefschetz form of the number of cuspidal representations with some Steinberg local components. Committee members, Bao Chao No, Madhav Nori, and Matthew Emerton, hooded by Matthew Emerton. Eric Reinhardt, Department of Chemistry. Dissertation, Metal complexes supported by novel ligands. Committee members Richard Jordan, John Anderson, and Michael Hopkins, hooded by Richard Jordan. Benjamin Seeger, Department of Mathematics. Dissertation, Fully nonlinear stochastic partial differential equations. Committee members Panagiotis Souganidis and Carlos Koenig, hooded by Matthew Emerton. Kevin Changhun Song, Department of Biophysical Sciences. Dissertation, Folding and misfolding of the potassium channel pore domain during assembly and tetramerization. Committee members Tobin Sosnick, Benoit Roux, Eduardo Peroso, and Andrei Tokmakov, hooded by Byung-Ho Song. Dong-Hook Sue, Department of Chemistry. Dissertation, Enhanced Sampling Methodologies for Free Energy Calculations in Biomolecular Systems. Committee members Benoit Roux, Aaron Dinner, and Suri Vaikundanathan, hooded by Aaron Dinner. Samuel James Whiteley, Department of Physics. Dissertation, Spin-phonon interactions with defects in silicon carbide. Committee members David Avshalom, Andrew Cleland, Julia Gully, David Schuster, and Abigail Furyk, hooded by David Avshalom. Alison May Wilders, Department of Chemistry, dissertation, Synthesis and olefin polymerization behavior of electronically unsymmetrical palladium-2 alkyl catalysts. Committee members Richard Jordan, Michael Hopkins, and John Anderson. Hooded by Richard Jordan. Fan Young, Department of Statistics, dissertation, Estimation and Inference for High-Dimensional Data with Structured Signals. Committee members Rena Feugel-Barber, Zheng Tracy Kay, and Chao Gao. Hooded by Dan Nicolae. Qiansheng Yu, Department of Chemistry, dissertation, Novel Methods for In-Depth Investigation of Chromatin Structure and Epigenetic Landmark. Committee members Chuan He, Tao Pan, and Joseph Piccirilli. Hooded by Scott Snyder. Huazhi Zhang, Department of Computer Science, dissertation, Maximizing Performance in Power-Constrained Computing Systems. Committee members Henry Hoffman, Ian Foster, and Taryadi Gunawi. Hooded by Henry Hoffman. Dean Olinto, I now have the honor to present for their hood these students who have attained scholarly distinction. They have prepared a dissertation that contributes to knowledge in a particular field of research in the physical sciences, culminating in the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in a prior quarter. Marie-Therese Berkey, Department of Physics, dissertation, Searching for tensor currents in the weak interaction using lithium-8 beta decay. Committee members Guy Savard, Yang Ki Kim, Jonathan Rosner, John Schiffer. Hooded by Yang Ki Kim. Cheryl Louise Dembe, Department of Chemistry, dissertation, Development of low-temperature thermometry in the 20 millikelvin region involving induced circuitry surrounding cerium magnesium nitrate, applied to an investigation of quantized vortices generated around alpha particles in the helium-3, helium-4 dilution refrigerator. Hooded by Angela Olinto. Nathan Don Ernest, Department of Physics, dissertation, Engineering Light Matter Interactions with Metastable States in a Heavy Fluxonium. Committee members David Schuster, Jens Koch, David Avshalom, and Abigail Firek. Hooded by David Schuster. Joao Manuel Gonçalves Caldera, Department of Physics, dissertation, Duality and axion couplings in two-dimensional supersymmetric quantum field theories. Committee members Savdeb Sethi, Jeffrey Harvey, Michael Levin, and Jonathan Simon. Hooded by Savdeb Sethi. Ningyuan Jia, Department of Physics, dissertation, Quantum Many-Body Physics with Photons. Committee members Jonathan Simon, David Schuster, Michael Levin, and Vincenzo Vitelli. Hooded by Jonathan Simon. Michael James Lückheide, Department of Chemistry, dissertation on the structure-property relationships of oligonucleotide polyelectrolyte complexes and complex micelles. Committee members Matthew Tyrrell, Bozi Tian, and Kai-Yi Lee. Hooded by Matthew Tyrrell. Joseph Nathaniel Mastron, Department of Physics, dissertation, Fluorescence-encoded infrared vibrational spectroscopies. Committee members Andrei Tokmakov, Gregory Engel, and David Mazziotti, hooded by Scott Snyder. Samuel Miller, Department of Geophysical Sciences. Dissertation, the meta-proteomic analysis of Arctic soils with novel bioinformatic methods. Committee members, Jacob Waldbauer, Michael Foote, Maureen Coleman, and David Archer, hooded by Michael Foote. Ryan Lee Mork, Department of Biophysical Sciences. Dissertation, Staphylococcus aureus acquisition, persistence, and infection dynamics in the household. Committee members, Andrei Rezetsky, Julian Bubeck, Wardenburg, Aaron Dinner, and Stephanie Fritz, hooded by Andrei Rezetsky. Pavel Modlog, Department of Physics. Dissertation, topics in gravitational lensing of the cosmic microwave background. Committee members, Wayne Hu, Stephen Meyer, Michael Turner, and Robert Wald, hooded by Wayne Hu. Vivek Patel, Department of Statistics. Dissertation, identification of dynamical systems, identifiability to stochastic optimization. Committee members, Mihai Anitescu, Dan Nicolae, and Rina Feugel-Barber, hooded by Dan Nicolae. Ulises Pereira Obilinovic, Department of Statistics. Dissertation, unsupervised learning of neuronal representations in brain networks. Committee members, Nicholas Brunel, Yali Ahmed, and David Friedman, hooded by Dan Nicolae. Songgang Wang, Department of Chemistry. Dissertation, fast atomic level simulations of the forced unfolding of proteins using a new membrane burial potential. Committee members, Torben Sosnick, Carl Fried, and Aaron Dinner, hooded by Torben Sosnick. Dean Olinto, I now have the honor to present for their hood these students who have attained scholarly distinction. They will prepare a dissertation that contributes to knowledge in a particular field of research in the physical sciences, culminating in the degree of Doctor of Philosophy on August 30th, 2019. Cesar Emilio Cardona Uribe, Department of Biophysical Sciences. Dissertation, using genomically inferred co-occurrence and metabolic networks to characterize the built environment microbiome. Committee members, Philippe Noirot, Chris Henry, and Jack Gilbert, hooded by Christopher Henry. Wush Dong, Department of Physics. Dissertation, first principles simulations of quantum electron transport in two-dimensional semiconductor nanodevices. Committee members, Peter Littlewood, Supratik Guha, Woo Son Kang, and Yang-Ki Kim, hooded by Yang-Ki Kim. Simas Glinskis, Department of Physics. Dissertation, braiding anyons in the nu equals 5/2 fractional quantum Hall effect state. Committee members, Wu Won Kang, David Schuster, Michael Levin, and Yao Hua, hooded by Wu Won Kang. Yui Feng Han, Department of Statistics. Dissertation, estimation and inference for high-dimensional time series. Committee members, Wei Biao Wu, Rui Tsai, and Per Mikland, hooded by Dan Nicolae. Kellyanne Cleary Curler, Department of Chemistry. Dissertation, synthesis and characterization of varied silicon nanomaterial interfaces for photoresponsive applications. Committee members, Bo Zitian, Yun Huang, and Raymond Möllering, hooded by Bo Zitian. Hao Peng Liu, Department of Computer Science, dissertation, Modeling and Tackling Timing Bugs in Multi-Threaded Systems and Distributed Systems. Committee members, Shan Lu, Haryadi Gunawi, Ryan Huang, and Suman Nas. Hooded by Shan Lu. Yao Lu, Department of Physics, dissertation, Parametric Control of Flux-Tunable Superconducting Circuits. Committee members David Schuster, Jonathan Simon, Ashish Clerk, and Yao Hua. Hooded by David Schuster. Christopher Gordon McKinnon, Department of Statistics, dissertation, Latent Variables in Omic Data. Committee members Dan Nicolae, Matthew Stevens, and Zhao Gao. Hooded by Dan Nicolae. Vadim Semyonov, Department of Astronomy and Astrophysics. Dissertation, How Galaxies Form Stars, the connection between local and global star formation in galaxies. Committee members, Professor Andrei Kravtsov, Nicolae Nedin, Damiano Caprioli, and Richard Krohn. Hooded by Nicolae Nedin. Mingjing Shen, Department of Chemistry, dissertation, The Evolution of Strategies for the Development of Novel Electrophilic Reagents and the Total Synthesis of Diverse Natural Products. Committee members Scott A. Snyder, Guangbin Dong, and Viresh Raval. Hooded by Scott Snyder. Hailing Shi, Department of Chemistry, dissertation, Decoding the Epitranscriptome, Reader Proteins Tailoring Regulatory Functions of mRNA Modifications. Committee members Chuan He, Tao Pan, Chao Chi Zhuang, and Brian Dickinson, hooded by Scott Snyder. Eric Henning Tiede, Department of Chemistry, dissertation, Towards the Accurate Estimation of Rare Events in Molecular Dynamics. Committee members Aaron Dinner, David Mazziotti, Benoit Roux, and Jonathan Weir. Hooded by Aaron Dinner. Jianxun Wang, Department of Chemistry, dissertation, Site-selective CH functionalization via palladium neurobornine cooperative catalysis. Committee members Guangbin Dong, Scott Snyder, Viresh Raval. Hooded by Guangbin Dong. Jing Yu, Department of Statistics, dissertation, on the application, theory, and computation of optimal experimental design in the context of sensor placement. Committee members, Mihai Anitescu, Jonathan Weir, and Lekeng Lim, hooded by Dan Nicolae. Fakhri Zahidi, Department of Astronomy and Astrophysics, dissertation, a multi-pronged study of chemical enrichment in massive quiescent halos. Committee members, Zhao Wenchen, Wendy L. Friedman, Nicolae Nedin, and Richard Krohn. Hooded by Zhao Wenchen. Oishi Banfer-Ji, dissertation, cohomology of varieties via suitable filtration. Committee members, Benson Farb, Alexander Bailenson, hooded by Benson Farb. Please congratulate our graduates.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. So we're here to celebrate your great achievements, graduates of the Physical Sciences Division. We also would like to recognize that personal achievements are built upon contributions of others. Your family, friends, teachers, and mentors, as well as scientists and mathematicians that came before you, have given you inspiration and strength in your graduate school journey. To thank those who have supported you, whether they're here or not, I invite all graduates to rise, turn toward the audience, and give them a round of applause, please. And turn towards the front, still standing, and now please turn back towards the front and I ask you to thank the faculty and the staff of this great university for all they have done to make you the accomplished person you are today. Thank everybody. You can sit down. As you leave this 532nd convocation and embark on the next phase of your life, I hope the passion for learning stays with you in all your journey. This year, we have a remarkable example of lifelong passion for learning among you. One of your fellow graduates is receiving her PhD 48 years after she did her studies here at the University of Chicago. Dr. Cheryl Dembe hopes people will learn from her inspiring story, and I would like to quote from her. What she would like us to remember is that, number one, never to give up. Never give up on your own paths and journeys in life, and the importance of respectful persevering through seeing those who are dealing with you in your life as solutions instead of problems. In thinking the best of them, their best is called for, and also your own best as well. Thank you for those inspiring thoughts. So please persevere and think of your problems as solutions. To honor her perseverance, I quote from one of the chemists that she likes to quote from too, Nobel laureate Glenn Seaborg. And this is to put the context of what we're celebrating today, which is all this wonderful physical and mathematical sciences that you represent. And what he said, Nobel laureate Glenn Seaborg, there's beauty in discovery, there's mathematics in music, a kinship of science, and poetry in the description of nature, an exquisite form in molecule. We, our teachers and mentors, trust that you will build upon the beauty of your discoveries that you experienced here at the University of Chicago to reach your highest aspirations with creativity, critical thinking, wisdom, and perseverance. With all your talents and expertise, I hope you feel ready to create your own masterpieces in the world outside these walls. I wish you the good fortune of a long, healthy life full of challenges that drive you further and enrich your existence and that of those around you. I'm sure that each one of you has a lot to teach us all, that this university's tradition will continue to be the teacher of teachers. So thank you very much, and congratulations one more time.
This now concludes the Physical Sciences Diploma and Hooding Ceremony at the 532nd Convocation of the University of Chicago. I thank you for witnessing today's ceremony, and also note the photographer will be available in the main foyer if you'd like to pose for additional pictures. Graduates, I congratulate you. Please rise for the recession.